here's the warm market product, if you want to take a picture of that, if you didn't get it from yesterday. It's just a sample. It's not meant to be an exact word for word, as you know. You guys have already modified quite a bit over the course of the last 3-4 hours, or over the course of today. Modified a lot, learned what worked for you. Okay? But the one thing I want to kind of mention, because somebody mentioned it during the break, is do you see why it makes me nervous when people watch a few of the videos on how to do a 90-day game plan online and they charge out there without what you've learned? I've talked about blitz days for forever, but very few of you understood what a blitz day until you went through it. You went, oh, okay, that's a completely different thing. Let me give you the warm market service sample script. This is coming back. And also, just so you know, all of you are going to have access to the replay also from the live stream. Yeah. You're here. So Chad will send you out that, the link to be able to you need to use your email to register. He'll send that out to you. So when you get home, you'll be able to watch it again for the next 7 days. It'll be up. All of these people need to get access to the live stream for the next 7 days, same as the people who are watching online. Yeah, Sunday-ish. Yeah, email. Yeah, okay, email Chad, poor Chad. Yeah, right. Don't say that out loud. So all of these things, you'll be able to look back again. You'll be able to see your bright, smiling faces. Some of you are going to be movie stars. The dancers for sure. That's got to be a Network Marketing Pro show. Absolutely. That's going to be a show. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, but in the next couple days, you will be famous or infamous. Okay, so you got that? Okay, take a picture for crying out loud. Okay, I want to talk to you about what you do after your campaign is done. Once you got your plane in the ground, or off the ground and into the sky, and you're exhausted, and you can't go 100% anymore. You've got to throttle it back. What do? How do you manage that? It's crucial. It's crucial that you keep up appearances. And in other words, don't show everybody that you're exhausted. The language needs to say the same even if the activity's changed. In other words, hey, things are going crazy, they're going amazing, people are signing up all over the place, the events are happening, stuff's happening. Go get them, let's go get them. And then maybe hang up the phone and do nothing for just a little bit, just to keep yourself sane. You still need to stay 50-60% throttle, but you can't stay white hot, that hot. This is something where keeping up appearances would be, you've already recruited your 20, now you're driving in depth. In other words, you can go and do a little blitz day with a group and coach them while they're doing it. That's not as intense. You can provide some support, some training, that kind of stuff. You can encourage people to come to the event. You can encourage people to use the tools, encourage people to use the products. In other words, you're being a leader. You're getting action to happen that wouldn't have happened if you weren't there. So keep up appearances. You're going to be driving duplication. You're going to continue to lead by example. just not as crazy white hot 24/7. Make it look like your 90-day game plan is continuing. I used to have a mentor. His name was Michael Nelson, one of the first guys that taught me. He was so good at creating urgency. And Michael was one of the leaders that he never made himself too available. He was always moving in another direction. He was always a little bit busy, always had stuff going on, but that always created some spark and intrigue, because familiarity does breed what? Contempt. Familiarity. If people they're hanging out and you have a bad day in front of your group, that's not a good thing. You can't let down in front of your group. Michael taught me never to let down in front of the group. Ever, 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 ever. Don't have a bad day in front of the group. Because when you do, that plants a seed of doubt in the group's mind. That gets the group nervous when you have a bad day. Top leaders need to be on their A game. And when they're not, they need to be somewhere else. So I remember after we had opportunity meetings every week in Minneapolis. And after the opportunity meetings, one of my favorite things, and one of the places where I learned more, was in the lounge after the meeting. After everybody'd circle up and everybody's done, they'd all go out and have a soft drink or something cold or serious. I'm not a drinker, but people would have a beer here, or they'd have a Diet Coke or whatever. Okay? We'd all sit around, order some snacks or whatever. We'd sit around, we'd talk about business, and we'd hang out, and we'd have our guests with us, and we'd just hang out, and it was really fun to have that environment. And Michael was never really a regular there. He'd stop in, he'd order a drink, have about half of it, and say, well, listen, I got to go. I've got a conference call. I got to get home. I've got a conference call in 20 minutes. I've got to go. You guys have a great night. A lot of stuff going on. I'll see you later. And boom, poof, he was gone like smoke. Poosh. And I didn't learn till like 5-10 years later that he didn't really have a conference call 20 minutes later. He was just telling me that. But it inspired me. I'm like, dang, it's 10 o'clock at night. He's got a conference call in 20 minutes? Are you kidding me? Now, I'm not saying you should tell things that are untrue to your group, but what I am saying is have a jump in your step. Keep things moving. Have your conversation with urgency in it. One of the things that I did a big blitz early on, and one of my goals was to go to Disneyland, take the kids to Disneyland after this blitz. And I went through the blitz and I hit my goal, and then I told the whole group, I'm going to Disneyland. This is what this business can do for you. And Michael was going, dude, that's such a bad idea. I said, what are you talking about? He said, Eric, the message you just sent is now is not the time to build. I said, I'm going to Disneyland. It's like aspirational. They want to go to Disneyland too. If they work hard like I do. He's like, I hear what you're saying, but the message you just sent was now is not the time. Wow. So what do I tell them? Say you're going to California to go recruit. Okay, because he was right. I said, well, Michael, you're not right. That's not true. Oh, come on. People need to have dreams. They need to have hopes. I just gave them hope. And guess what? I left for a week. My group left for 3 weeks. They were gone. They did nothing when I was gone. I had to rebuild from scratch when I got back. They had disappeared like smoke. They were gone. I was like, he was right. So I learned to say when I went on vacation, I'm going to Florida to recruit. I'm going to Italy to recruit. I'm going to wherever to recruit. I'm going to the Bahamas, great recruiting zone. Seriously. So it's the language. You understand? the message that you're sending to everyone is important. The urgency that you have in your voice is important. The excitement you have for their dreams is important. The fact that you're still talking about telling the story, developing raving fans of your product or service, helping people, improving lives, contributing, fulfillment, growth. That's the language that you're talking all the time. Really a big deal. Now, I'm going to give you some leadership things, but before I do that, I have to talk about something that's real. What could go wrong? You decide you're going to engage in this 90-day game plan. What could go wrong? Wow. I got to be honest with you. As soon as you make this decision, you're going to do this. You're going to make it happen. Watch my smoke. I'm going to crush this thing. I'm recruiting 20 people. I'm going to inspire those people to go out there and build a business. I'm going to look for the greatness in all of them. I'm going to see who's going to end up being those 4 that drive 95% of my business 12 months from today. I'm bringing this class of 2014 to the next level. I'm going to own this local market. I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm going to make it all happen. As soon as you decide and you say clear, as soon as you say that, the universe is going to test you. It's the only way I know how to say it. And I'm giving you this friendly warning because some of you are going to go, oh my gosh, he wasn't kidding. You won't believe the stuff that will happen. Anybody ever see the movie The Truman Show? The Truman Show with Jim Carrey? One of my favorite movies. Good network marketing movie, good laws of association movie. People wanting to keep you in the bubble that they like you to stay in. But if you remember the movie, they planted this fear in him about being afraid of water. And he's like, hey, wait a minute, I got to get out of here. There's something wrong. There's something going on. I don't belong here. There's a bigger world for me. And he decides, I'm leaving. And they immediately put the pressure on. They try everything they can. His fake wife all of a sudden becomes pregnant. This person all of a sudden gets sick. They start putting this pressure. This job situation happens. The best friend, they send in the best friend to try and convince him that he's thinking the wrong thing. And that's what the universe is going to do to you. Just like that little director sitting above that bubble, say, send in the best friend. Somebody's going to send in the best friend to you. Send in the family, because we can't let them leave. Send in the neighbors. Send in the job. Put the full court press on. We can't let this happen. It'll be disaster if this person leaves this bubble. And I promise you it's going to happen. Weird things are going to, family members are going to get sick. There's going to be a crisis at work. If you own a business, the key employees are going to quit. I mean, it's just the weirdest thing you'd almost think it was like the Truman Show. But here's what happens. At some point, you've got to get to the point that say, I'm willing to do this or die. I'm willing to do this or else. I'm not going back anymore. I'm moving forward. And usually the escape plan is just like in the Truman Show. It's in the place that your fear is sitting. And for him, it was in the water. The thing that he was afraid of. And that was where they didn't expect him to go. So he gets in the water, he gets in the sailboat, and he starts sailing. And then they find him. The universe finds him. There he is. We got him. Send the wind. And they pound the wind. Send the rain. They pound the rain. Send the waves. We pound the waves. He'll give up. He'll stop. And even the people in the universe booth are saying, enough, you're going to kill him, enough. You can't do this anymore. This is too much. You got to let him go. And finally, he yells up to the universe and says, you're going to have to kill me. Is that all you got? You're going to have to kill me. And they say, the universe finally says, okay, fine, let him go. Sun comes out. But he had to get to that stage. He had to get to that point where he was not willing to back down. And I promise you, you're going to get to that point. Yes.
My universe tested me today.
Your universe tested you today.
My dog had a seizure.
Oh, your dog? I'm telling you, stuff's going to happen. Stuff's going to happen. And it's going to test everything in you, in every direction. But at some point, you got to understand, is this your purpose? Is this why you're here? Are you here to help other people? Are you here to face your fears and move beyond your current circumstance? Or are you going to be knocked out by the tests that will be thrown your way? I need to let you know that, because it's going to happen. So then you do hit the edge of that bubble, and you do walk through the door, and you do say, see ya to that life, and you realize there's a bigger world out there. That's the reality of what's going to happen to you between now and the time you say clear and you go to jump. There's going to be some stuff that shows up. Just know that it's normal. It's not a sign that you're not supposed to do it. It's a sign that you're supposed to move through it. That's what that resistance is. You may feel like quitting. Everything won't be smooth. You're going to have some inner circle problems. Some people are going to try and mess up what you're doing. Distractions will show up. You might need to make course corrections. And the biggest, you might need to make relationship corrections. During this period of time, it's incredibly important to surround yourself with people, just like you were surrounded with today, that encourage you, that support you, that challenge you for the best in yourself. And that you limit your exposure to people that are not helping you go in the direction of your dreams. Don't spend a lot of time with negativity, because it'll take you right off track. So some people are so interested in keeping the peace that they sacrifice their lives. They don't want to ruffle any feathers, so they give up the next 10 years. Those 10 years are going to be gone. You don't get them back. The next 10 years should be amazing. They should be an adventure. How many movies do you need to see where you're almost yelling at the screen saying, get away from that relationship, it's going to destroy your life. You can't stay friends with that person and expect to be healthy. You can't. When you dance with the devil doesn't change. The devil changes you. You got to be aware of negative influence. Surround yourself with positive. Find a workout friend. Maybe somebody in this room. Find somebody that'll get you up in the morning and challenge you and look in the face and say, you can do more than you did. Find somebody who will force you to look at the potential that's inside of you. Find somebody. I've had several workout partners in my career. And the workout partner is the greatest thing ever, because they can help you see blind spots. They can help you when you get that lazy phase. They can say, hey, you're doing it, come on. And when they're down, you could pick them up. That's a great workout partner. Sometimes it's not upline, downline. Sometimes it's crossline. You know what I mean? Somebody that there's no financial interest really connected. You're just a friend in the profession. But relationship corrections are wildly important. If you want to really hold what you got here this weekend, you want to really hold it, make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are excited about you pursuing your dreams. Not going to send the wind and send the rain, send the waves. Because that's what a lot of people in your life are going to do without even consciously knowing that they're doing it. They're going to try and capsize you. It's going to happen. So, after that little warning, if you understand that, is it better that you understand that this is probably going to happen as you leave here? It's better, right? It's the reason why you set expectations for a brand new person. Let them know not everybody's going to understand network marketing right away. We got to work on some skills. We're going to set some expectations. We're going to make this stuff happen. Last thing I want to share with you is to talk to you a little bit about leadership. And then we're going to wrap up. Leadership. In my opinion, the definition of a leader is somebody who creates an environment where people take action when they normally wouldn't have taken action. When you go home, do you create an environment where people are taking action? Before I get into this, let me just, okay. Now let's talk about leadership. The big thing that I learned about leadership, one is creating this environment where people will take action. But if I had to describe the muscle of leadership, it would be described like this. Culture. Leaders create a culture. The culture provides motivation for people to take action. Think about any leader in any organization. They create a particular culture. Anybody ever here serve in the military? What branch? Coast Guard. You, sir? Marine Corps. Is there a difference between the Coast Guard and the Marine Corps in culture? Absolutely. They're both in armed services. And how about you? Army. Air Force, Army, Marines, Coast Guard. Air Force. Is there a difference between the Air Force and the Army? It's not just planes and boots. It's more than that. Right? Army, Navy, Air Corps, Marines, Coast Guard. We got a lot. Diversity there. But what if they just said, well, you know what? They're all the same. They just do different jobs. That's not how it works, is it? Everybody's got their own sense of identity. You save lives. What's your identity in the Marine Corps? A warrior. What's your identity in the Army? We take lives. We save them. We take them. We're a warrior. Huh? We defend them. I understand what you're saying. I know you're just joking. What would you say the identity? Huh? Yeah, but the identity, the culture. We send officers to fight. Here's what I will tell you. If you've ever served in the military, there's a certain sense of, here's how we do things here. All those other people do it different, and that's fine for them. But here's how we do it here, and here's why it's better. They eat a certain way. They talk a certain way. They make their bed a certain way. They get up at a certain time for a certain reason. Right? What does that provide? It provides a sense of identity, a sense of belonging, a sense of community, a sense of pride. And it also it rewards the activities that culture wants to have happen. and it penalizes the activities that they don't want to see happen. Right? If you don't fit into the culture, what if you walked into the Marine Corps and you said, you know what? I like a lot of what you guys do, but a few of these things over here I think are unnecessary. I think we should change these things. Would you be open to suggestions? They wouldn't be open to suggestions? No. Guess what? You either fit in or you get spit out. One of the two. That's what a culture does. That's what a culture does. So think about that in terms of your organization as you're building a group. What is the culture in the group? Is it that strong, or is it just totally moldable by any new person that walks in the door? Person walks in, they say, well, I got some suggestions. Oh, great. And you change your whole method of operation. Is that going to be a behavior that's going to build a great organization? No, it's going to destroy an organization. It's going to confuse the whole group. Think about, we have people from a lot of different countries here. Is there a certain culture in Australia? Certain way of thinking, a way of acting? Is it different than people in New Zealand? It is actually. Over here we wouldn't notice that difference, but over there you notice the difference, don't you? How about people in Puerto Rico versus Atlanta? Big difference, just in culture. Everything. Passion is a little bit, I would say, Puerto Rico is more passionate. More little style. Right? Think about, here in the United States, African American versus white. Is there a culture difference? Are there some things that the culture itself creates and rewards and punishes as a group? It just does. Just does. Think about a company like IBM. Do they have a certain culture? Very specific, very kind of rigid. When you think about their culture, what comes to mind? Suits, ties, blue suit, white shirt, blue tie. Very kind of. Now think about Google. Is there a different culture there? It's about creativity and innovation. They're not caught up in the uniform, but they're caught up in intelligence. Some very smart people walking around there. You're a lower IQ person, you're not going to fit in very well inside of that group, no matter what outfit you're wearing. Think about a religious organization. Is there a difference between Orthodox, Catholic, and Southern Baptist? Big difference. Now, I believe they're both looking towards the same God. Big difference in culture. And if you don't follow that particular culture inside of the church, if you don't go through the steps that they are requiring for your confirmation, for your advancement, for your education, you'll find yourself on the outside looking in. Every culture in the world rewards certain behaviors and penalizes others. You go, well, that sounds mean. Rewarding some and not rewarding others is looked at by a lot of people as penalizing. So I will tell you, here's why I'm saying this. What do you want your team, your group, not that you own them, but the group that you are challenged to lead, what do you want them to be known for? That's your integrity might be one of your pillars for your culture. What about speed? Would speed be important? I don't know if it is or isn't. What about developing raving fans of your product or service, where it's really just about passion about your product? Is it about that? I don't know. You got to decide. Is your culture on time or are they always late? That's a decision from the leader. The leader decided to allow it or disallow it. Are you on time or are you not on time? That's a culture thing. Are you dressed well or are you dressed sloppy? That's a culture thing. It's a decision. You take some companies inside of this room that are represented in this room, they're very casual, hip, cool, party dress all the time. There are others that are suits all the time. There are some that are flip-flops because, dang it, I'm never wearing shoes again. But it's a decision. I respect all the decisions. But what do you want your group to be known for? Do you want them to be known for passion? Do you want them to be known for product? Do you want them to be known for speed? Do you want them to be known for punctuality, for respect, for edification, for rank advancement? For your team is known for always going to the big events, never missing a big event. There are some cultures inside of network marketing, some cultures represented in this room that are so good at making that big event a priority that they have 25,000 people at an event. They have 30,000 people at an event all the time. It's unbelievable what they're able to do. And other cultures, they have 1,000 people. Same sales, but they have 1,000 people at the event because that just wasn't a priority for them. It wasn't as important. So you got to decide, what do you want your group to be? Do you want your group to have as its foundation a Blitz Day concept? Would that help? If everybody engaged in a Blitz Day activity, what if your whole group did a Blitz Day once a month for the rest of your career? Once a month, at the beginning of the month, you did a Blitz Day, you filled the calendar for the month, and then everybody went to work. And then the beginning of next month, you did it again. Would that be something that would serve you? What about the hot market approach? Would that be something that you would want to see part of your culture? You're going to need to use some tools in order to be able to push that into the culture. The 90-day game plan, is that something that you want to encourage and reward as you move forward? Or is it something that you want to just kind of ignore and let happen as it happens? Your culture is being built by what you decide is important every single day, and it starts with you. You know what most people do? The day you become a man, the day you become a woman in network marketing is the day that you say, I'm not waiting for anybody else anymore. I'm not waiting for my upline. I'm not waiting for my company. I'm not waiting for my upline. I'm not waiting for the leadership. I'm not waiting for the top ranked, top earners in the company. It starts with me. It starts with me right now. It starts from here forward. Everybody else can do what they want. But this group is going to be known for this. We're not going to put down the other groups, but we're going to identify ourselves by what we do and what we stand for and what we won't stand for and what we won't allow and what we won't reward. You understand what I'm saying? This is some advanced stuff, but I'm telling you, this was the difference in changing my whole career. Once I learned to do this, what you'll see when I make this list of how you build a culture is I've done most of it with all of you for the last 2 days. Almost everything on the list. Almost everything. Here's the list. 1, you need to be more committed. Pick whatever thing it is. Whatever thing it is that you want to have as part of your culture, you need to be more committed than anybody else to that particular thing. You need to be more committed to Blitz Day than anybody else. More committed to attending the next major event than anybody else. More committed to your product than anybody else. More committed than anybody in your group. 2 is demonstration. In other words, lead by example. Don't just tell people to do it. Show them by doing it. Demonstrate to the group. Your drill sergeants could demonstrate everything that they were asking you to do in the military, couldn't they? They weren't asking you to do something that they couldn't do. They could drop down and do it. They say, give me 50 push-ups. They could show you 50 push-ups. Right? And if they couldn't, guess what? They'd lose respect. They wouldn't have respect to that group. They wouldn't have that job for very long. Demonstrate it. Show people that you can do what you're asking them to do. 3 is intensity. Intensity. You got to be white hot. You got to have some intensity. Think about any great leader. One of my favorite leadership movies in the world is Braveheart. Anybody ever see the movie Braveheart? Man, what a leadership lesson. First was his philosophy. It wasn't about him. It was about justice. It was about freedom. It was about his people. It wasn't about him. He didn't want anything other than justice, right? Was he committed? Did he demonstrate his commitment? Was he intense? And if anybody ever doubted it for a moment, he'd paint his face and go a little crazy. Holler and scream. He was also competent. He learned enough as he went along. He didn't go to warrior school first. He said, injustice has to be fixed now. I'm going to learn as I go. But if he died in the first battle, it wouldn't have been much of a movie. He got creative. He got scrappy. He figured it out. So intensity is big. Laser focus on that particular thing. Whatever it is that you want to build into your culture, you got to be focused on it. Number 5, repetition. How often in the military were the principles repeated? Again and again and again and one more time. And we're going to create little chants while we make you run. And again and again and again and again. Say it to me. Repeat it back. They didn't just tell you the first day and then say, well, I told them. They pounded into your subconscious brain where you could repeat it today, couldn't you? And it's been a while. Repetition, 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 repetition. If building for big events is important, you're going to have to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it until it becomes part of everybody's fiber. They can't think of not doing it because you've let them know that it's important. Number 6 is a verbal commercial. Here's what I mean by that. I know I have a leader, I identified a leader, when I start hearing this. People say, well, why should I go to the convention? And you tell them, here's why. Here's what it's going to do for you. Here's what it's going to do for your group. Here's what it's going to do for your career. Here's the pain that you're going to suffer if you don't go. You're going to be so far behind everybody else that went. Here's the benefits. Here's the fun. Here's all this stuff. So you come with a little commercial. But I know I've got a leader when I start hearing that same thing repeated 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 levels deep. And everybody's saying the same thing. Here's why we're passionate about the product. Here's why we're on time. Here's why we respect and edify our company and our leaders inside of our company. Here's why. When that starts being repeated, I know I've got a leader. Number 7 is your vision. Why are we doing this? Why are you doing this? What's in it for people to join this? Tell me why. Number 8 is your game plan. How are we going to get there? How are we going to do this vision? How are we going to make it happen? The vision says here's where we're going. Game plan says here's how we're going to get there. Number 9, stories. How many stories have I told over the course of the last couple days, including some of yours? A lot of stories, because stories make it real. Stories make people understand. Stories make people... Now there's both kinds of stories. Here's the good story of the people who followed this part of our culture, and here's the terrible, tragic story of the people who didn't. Here's what happened to them. I'm not an expert on the Bible, but what's the Bible filled with? Stories. And those stories are 2 different kinds. One is examples, and the other is warnings. Don't do this, you'll turn into a pillar of salt. Do this, you'll get the reward. Don't do this, or you're going to get swallowed by a whale. See what I mean? Stories. People remember stories, they forget the facts. So learn to tell stories of both sides while you're trying to build your culture. Number 10 is inclusion. Include people on a different level that follow the culture. Inclusion. When you get that stripe in the military, you're in a new group now. You're included into a new group. You get to go into special places. You get special privileges. And with inclusion comes automatically what? Exclusion. If you don't have that stripe, I'm sorry you can't come in. I'm sorry you don't get saluted. I'm sorry you're going to be looked at differently. The ultimate exclusion in military service would be what? A dishonorable discharge. That would be the ultimate exclusion. That's the scarlet letter for going way outside of the culture. Okay? That's not an innocent thing. That's something that goes even farther than that. To the point that even these people today, long after their service, and thank you for your service, by the way, but long after your service, if you connected with somebody that had a dishonorable discharge, it would be a hard conversation, wouldn't it? It'd be hard to even talk with them because of what was built into your right and wrong in the culture. See what I'm saying? So inclusion and exclusion. So there's some people that aren't going to the event. Guess what? They don't get that same connection. You can't have that same connection. If they go to the event, you've got a different connection. You know what I mean? If they're using the product, they got one connection. If they're not really using the product, they got a different connection. If they're engaged in the Blitz Day with you, you got one connection. If they're not engaged and they're distant, there's a different connection. It's just automatic. This is serious stuff, but it's leadership. I'm telling you. I know your mind is very, very full right now. Just keep writing it down. Digest this later. Write it down. I want you to understand the principle. The principle is your culture is up to you starting now. Design what's important to you. Pick one thing that you would like your group to be known for. Use these tools to be able to build that in so it's part of your bedrock, part of your core of what you're known for. Then add the next thing. Then add the next thing. Then add the next thing. Until you build such a culture that people see it and they go, I want to be a part of that. I want to earn my way into the inner circle there. Number 12. Recognition. What did I do today just with our Blitz Day? Provided some recognition, some competition to be able to drive the behavior. Number 13. Peer pressure. What did the group thing provide? Peer pressure. You didn't want to let the team down. Right? Some of you that didn't feel like making some calls made them because the other people were making the calls, and I'm sitting here and I got to look at them, I got to put my numbers up, and guess why some of you hit 5 and not 4? Because you knew that there was going to be some push-ups or a dance contest or something if you hit 4. There's some peer pressure. And once you got to the 5, you went, I'm included in the group. So peer pressure, a big, big force. I use peer pressure all the time. You know how, give you an example. Let's say you want to drive attendance at your next major company event into your culture. You can create a website that says, this is where leaders live. And all it is a list of people on your team that are registered for the convention. And you send that link out. Go check out who's registered. The implication is go check out who's not. That's some peer pressure. As soon as that list is released, you'll see a flood of registrations from people who used to wait till last second, but now there's peer pressure and they can't. You've outed them. Peer pressure. Number 14, accountability. Number 15, competition. Number 16, contests. Number 17, incentives. I use these all the time. I provide some accountability. You're going to do it. You're going to report back to me. What's going to happen? As soon as you do that, you're going to do that. We create some mutual accountability. I add some peer pressure. I offer up some recognition if they do it. I provide a little competition with somebody else. I create a little contest to get them excited and motivated. I do some incentives, right? Contest said there's winners and losers. Incentives say everybody gets it if they get X. See what I mean? I use that all the time. And sometimes it's just tiny little things. Tiny little things. All they needed was an excuse. Like the little kid needed the stopwatch to take out the garbage. Your downline needed a little thing to get them to act. And sometimes it's competition, sometimes it's recognition, sometimes it's peer pressure, whatever it is. Those little things that cause people to move into action. Number 18, campaigns. A blitz campaign. A campaign around getting people registered for the event. A campaign around home parties. A campaign around a tool. A campaign around a product will get people into action, help you build that culture. Number 19 is problem solving. Big part of building a culture is solving problems. Leaders solve problems all the time, especially when it comes to culture. If there's somebody that's coming and messing with the culture, a leader absolutely brings the nuclear weapons into play. Somebody's messing with the culture, they'll take them down. They will not allow it. Number 20 is a challenge. How many times did I individually challenge you over the course of these 2 days? During just the Blitz Day alone, I wasn't walking around just on accident. I was walking around finding everybody on purpose, saying, where are you at? What's going on? You can do a little bit more. Come on, you can do a little bit more. Come on, you can do a little bit more. Right? How many of these things did I do during just the Blitz thing alone? Just me. A lot of them, right? Tons of them. It's second nature now. Number 21 is assignments. You know what I found in network marketing? Your team craves assignments. They're nervous and they're afraid and they can't think about what they're supposed to do and it's too much into their brains. But if you'll tell them, here's what I want you to do. I want you to book 5 appointments and then call me back. They go, oh, thank you. They know what to do now. They've been trained to follow, live up to assignments for their whole life. So now they know what to do. So they'll go do that assignment. They'll come back and say, I did it. What's next? You give them the next assignment. The next assignment is, I want you to get registered for the next company convention. I want you to book your airfare. I want you to get your hotel. I want you to get 3 people committed to coming to the weekly event next week. I want you to bring 10 people to the training that we're doing this month. Assignment. Now, if you have an assignment and you can attach it to a contest, an incentive, a campaign, a competition, will that help? Sure. You don't have to every time. Most people are just looking for direction because they're confused. They're looking for direction. And 22, last one, is expectations. if you create an environment that sets an expectation that inside this group, we all use the product, not just talk about it. Inside this group, we rank advance fast. Inside this group, we fill our calendar. Inside this group, we go to the conventions. This is the expectation that we have inside this group. We're not posers. Inside this group, we work on our skills. Inside this group, we have a personal development focus. Inside this group, we're different. We're going on another level inside this group. If you set the expectation, you'll find people rise to it. Think about any organization you've ever been a part of. Somebody in that organization set an expectation and waited for you to rise up to it. And when you did, they gave you rewards and inclusion and benefits and goodwill and pleasure. They made you want to stretch for it. I heard it said once, and I think it's true, one of our greatest wants in life is for someone to show up and force us to do what we're capable of doing. That's really what we want. We want that coach that will not let us accept less than our full potential. We want that teacher that will say, no, stop it. You're better than this. We want that workout partner that'll say, no, you can do more. Come on. You can do more. And we're a little disappointed when we give them some resistance and they back down. And they stop pushing us. See, I pushed you pretty hard these 2 days, right? Pretty hard. But did it feel good or did it feel bad? Felt good, right? You know, for some of you, it might be fun if I moved into the house for 30 days. And say, hey, what are you doing? Why are we watching TV all day if I'm sitting there? What's going on? Your phone's charged? You still got it, right? Don't we have an appointment? Pushing, pushing, pushing. Come on, you can do better. And then when you have that experience, when you have that breakthrough, high five. You know, let's go get another one. Let's go make it happen. Let's go rescue some people. First, we're going to rescue you. Second, we're going to go help rescue some other people. You know what my job is really? Somebody asked me what I did. I was down in Florida at the Direct Sales Association, Selling Association Convention a couple weeks ago. And I said, you know, really what I do is I'm a professional encourager. That's what I do. I encourage through a lot of different ways, but that's what I do. I challenge people, but it's really about encouragement. I just want them to know that I care. And I promise you, if you do that with your organization, you're just a professional encourager. You're there to support and guide and direct and push and challenge. They'll do anything for you. They want somebody to show up in their life and expect something better from them. Like my friend who has massive potential that was nervous today. What I really saw in her is something way bigger than she even saw for herself. And it's going to come out. It's going to manifest itself. And I can see 2-3 years from now, you're up on stage saying, let me tell you where I was 3 years ago. And here's what happened to me. And I had this experience. And then I had a breakthrough. And now my job is to help other people, encourage them past their breakthrough and deal with their fear. You know why I can help people with fear? Because I was filled with it at one point in time. And I got to the other side, you know what I mean? That's the fun of what it is that we do. So here's what I will tell you. We've come a long way, right? Your brains are full, right? It's a little bit much. I just took the fire hose and went, those at home, same thing. It's like, whoa, come on. But I wanted you to go into the deep end of the pool and swim. I wanted you to get so mentally exhausted that this gets into your subconscious, not just into your notes. That it lasts after this event is over. That it turns into results. And what I would ask of you, I asked you at the beginning to please make notes as if you're going to teach it. And what I really hope that you will do, some of you, is that you'll look for an opportunity to teach it. Even if it's just with a small group, even if it's with 5 people, teach it. Because in teaching it, you're going to learn it better. In teaching it, you're going to get stronger. In teaching it, you're going to burn a groove into your brain that's going to make you a different person and a more confident person. Your confidence is going to go through the roof if you'll teach it. So with everything that I do, you know what I want everybody to do? Take my stuff. Take all this stuff. Take the notes. Apply it to your business. And then give it to the world. And then teach those people how to teach it. That's when you have a legacy. That's when your influence shows up and is there long after you've left the building. That's the cool thing. That's, for me, purpose and contribution. So let me tell you this as I wrap up. I'm really proud of all of you. I'm proud of you for being here. I'm proud of you for taking the step. I'm proud of you for believing in yourself and pushing yourself, making the investment of time and money and effort. I'm proud of you for knowing that there's more inside of you and just looking for a little bit of direction in order to be able to do it. I hope that over the last 2 days, I've given you enough tools and enough guidance and direction to turn your dreams into reality. So as we say all the time, ladies and gentlemen, my wish for all of you is that you decide to become a network marketing professional for real, that you decide to go pro, because it is a stone cold fact that we do have a better way. Now let's go tell the world. I love you all very much. And I appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Everybody at home, thank you too. Thanks, everyone. Love you all.